If you have a retirement account, you are going to want to pay attention to this because Wall Street is setting you up to take the fall for their risky bets. Yes, you heard me correctly. They have found a new way to profit off of your retirement, and it involves dumping some of the riskiest debt in the system straight into your portfolio. And if you haven't heard about this yet, which I'm going to explain in detail, it's because they're moving quietly and quickly, taking advantage of new regulations that allow them to sneak private credit, aka some of the most opaque, high-risk, hard-to-sell loans in the system, right into your retirement. But guess what that means? If there's a credit crunch or an economic downturn, the likes of which we haven't seen yet, with private credit to this level, who's left holding the bag? Not them, but you, potentially jeopardizing everything you have worked so hard for. But do not worry yet, because today we're going to go over exactly what these new tactics are, what risk they pose to your retirement, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. Let's get into it. Now, in case you missed it this week, Goldman Sachs to launch private credit product for retirement plans, joining a broad push by money managers to get their alternative investments into retirement portfolios and capitalize on a period of loosening regulation. Now, as I go through and read sections of this, I'm going to explain exactly what they mean. But anytime things sound too good to be true or all easy peasy, that's when we need to be paying even more attention, right? This is all propaganda tactics to make us feel calm, like this is totally normal. This is a good thing for you and I, but it's not. What do we mean by alternative investments? Well, let's get into it. Essentially, they are launching a product structured as a collective investment trust, or CIT. Now, a CIT is not regulated by the SEC. It's regulated by bank regulators, the same banks who are looking to turn a profit off of this new product. And what that means is there's less regulatory disclosure, less oversight, meaning that you are going to have a much harder time understanding these products that are going to be put into your retirement portfolio. But let's go on. Now, the push to launch this GS private credit CIT is because of the ever-shrinking public markets and are driving the strategy behind this product and ones like it. So essentially, they are looking for new ways to make revenue. They're trying to tap into new pools of retirement and find a new way to push new products that they can make more money off of. One of the reasons why is because the fees, the margins are going to be higher on this. They can do whatever they want with it. And it's not just one lender, right? It's not just Goldman Sachs. It says here that BlackRock and Invesco, among others, are focused on growing their private asset operations where the products are more lucrative, right? Again, this is not about you. This is not about helping you in growing your retirement. This is about squeezing everything they can out from you right now, taking their fees, taking even more fees than they already are, and exposing you directly to the risk. And we haven't even gotten to the risk yet. We're going to get there. Private credit loans made by non-banks. And I've talked about shadow banks before. These are essentially unregulated, uncontrolled banks. They're private operations that lend, and they have grown tremendously since 2008 as banking regulations tightened, and they didn't even tighten that much. But as they tightened and risk was higher, what happened? We saw these shadow banks pop up. Essentially, this is a huge, huge area of, again, untapped profit. Why? Because there's tremendous risk that they are trying to get into. So it says here, Wall Street is looking for ways to package this for Main Street. Don't you love that? And they're going to play it off like, again, this is some kind of benefit for you and I, but we know the truth. The reason why this is happening is because the Trump administration is helping with a push that analysts will say will be the largest rollback of financial regulations in a generation. So essentially, there's going to be new regulatory openings that are going to allow for this kind of private credit to be packaged up and put into your retirement in a way that hasn't been before. That's why they are able to take advantage of this, and you probably haven't heard about it yet. But let's talk about what this could actually do to your retirement if it was snuck in there. Here's another article that goes into detail on this. Wall Street's new shadow banks are on a tear. They want your money. That's what this is all about, right? It's not about helping you. It's about profiting off of you. But we'll get into details here. So it says here, the marketing that they're using for why they're suddenly trying to get everyone in on private credit is that they deserve the same access as institutional investors. And then this says, quote, "We have created a bit of a have and have-not situation, said Blackstone President Jonathan Gray. Oh, Blackstone President Jonathan Gray cares about the haves and the have-nots? He wants to make all the have-nots rise up and join the haves? I don't think so. Give me a break. If anything, when I read that quote, alarm bells started ringing everywhere for me, and they should be for you too, because that is just a blatant lie, and it tells me everything I need to know and more about who is actually going to be benefiting off of this. The reason why this is so concerning is that, again, private credit are risky loans, right? And they're going to be packaged up, essentially pieces of them pulled out, put into a new bundle, packaged up as something different and snuck into your retirement. And if that sounds familiar at all, it should. Maybe 2008, something familiar there, taking risky loans, repackaging them as something else and putting them into your retirement and telling you it's a very safe investment. Not the case. Now, the reason why this is even more concerning is that we have never had that come to Jesus moment on private credit. What do we mean by that? If an economic downturn prompts a wave of loan defaults, existing investors would feel that pain and there is damage coming. So essentially, if we have a prolonged economic downturn, which I think we all can feel is brewing, if we have a crisis where credit suddenly is crunched, what does that mean for all of the lenders of this private credit? If they can no longer pay back their loans, if these businesses are going under, if these loans are in default, well then what happens to your investment that you might not even realize you made in your retirement portfolio? Listen to this too. Since private loans aren't marked with a real value in real time, the way stocks are priced, investors might not even realize right away if their private credit portfolios are deteriorating. People should not invest in things they don't understand. That's the only true thing in this whole article, to be honest, that quote right there. Because here's the thing. We know, right, in 2008 that things were going wrong for a while before the public found out, before the big crash, right? But no one knew. No one knew because no one understood what they were even invested in. The same thing goes here for private credit. And when we're talking about private credit, it's not just businesses, right? A lot of times people hear private credit and they think about these mid-sized businesses that maybe weren't eligible for a loan through a traditional bank and had to go private. But it's not just that. Now private credit firms are lending and moving deeper into the vast universe of asset-backed finance, which funds much of the real economy, including mortgages, credit card loans, and auto loans. Go figure, mortgages, credit card loans, and auto loans. Is it just me, or have I been talking for the last couple months about auto loan delinquencies, credit card loans, more and more Americans falling behind as the debt continues to rise on the average household and people are unable to dig themselves out of it? What happens when all of this goes belly up, right? It's not going to take much. Right now, things are kind of plodding along. Again, we see the writing on the wall, but it's only a matter of time. Everything is so fragile and interconnected and built on top of one another that when this goes sideways, you don't want to be the one left holding the bag. This is not about helping you. This is not about setting you up for success in the next chapter of your life. No, this is about them being driven crazy by the fact that they don't have access to profit off of all of this private credit, off of this shadow bank investment in the same way they can everything else. So the second that these regulations change, they are making moves and preparing to slip this in to your retirement account. And if you don't think they're going to try it, if you don't think they're going to call it something else, you better be careful and pay attention and ask the right questions about what is going on. Because again, they're going to tell you this is the best thing since sliced bread, but ultimately it's higher fees and more risk to you. And that's the problem with a lot of financial advisors out there. That's the problem with a lot of people who are just looking to make an ongoing lifelong profit off of your hard-earned retirement. And that is what drives me nuts. So I apologize if I got heated during this video, but this is the kind of thing that really makes me mad. This is why I do what I do. Is because I don't like those in power, the elite, the wealthy out there taking advantage of the everyman, the people who have worked their whole life to save and made all the right decisions, only to be taken advantage of at a pivotal moment in your life when you know that you can't afford to make mistakes for the next chapter. But what can you do with all of this information to make sure you're protected? Well, first things first, make sure you know what you're investing in. Make sure you understand your retirement. Make sure you're asking those questions. Are there any CITs in there? Are there risky assets that I'm exposed to? Make sure you understand that. And I also, as always, highly, highly encourage you to make sure you're diversified outside of anything that's in their system, because we all know a storm is brewing, and we know these people, Wall Street, they're not looking out for your best interests. So make sure that you're talking to someone and having conversations with someone who is. Now, of course, I am going to recommend that you talk to one of our expert analysts who can help you create a strategy outside of their system, right? With physical gold and silver, something that there are no fees, long-term, lifelong fees to be made off of. It's your insurance policy against this, against what the crooks are up to out there. It's your insurance policy against a failing dollar and a failing system, one that we can all feel accelerating. So if you have any questions, or you don't have a strategy, or you want a second opinion on your strategy, talk to one of our expert analysts completely free, and they can help you like they've helped so many other people. You can call us at the number below, or you can set up a time by clicking the link in the description below, whatever works for you. And in the meantime, thank you so much for being here. I'm Taylor Kenny with ITM Trading, your trusted source for all things gold, silver, and lifelong wealth protection. Until next time.